So if you love the magic of travel, whether it's adventure travel, cultural travel, leisure travel, a fun cruise, or a short getaway, this podcast is for you. So pack your bags. Here's your host, Colby Jones.
All right, I'm filming on location today, and guess what? I forgot my tie. It happened, so we're gonna go open collar. We're gonna be relaxed today, and what better way to relax than on something very relaxing? Do you know what I'm talking about? Anybody in the class, do we know what we're talking about? Let's talk about some famous rivers. Who's got a famous river? Yes, you there in the back. Go ahead. River Phoenix, is that what you said? The actor? No, we're not talking about River Phoenix. Who else? Yeah, how about you right here? Rivers Cuomo? The singer? No, can we get off the people, please? I'm not talking about rivers, like people rivers. We're talking about rivers. Okay, how about another one? How about famous cruises? Just shout them out. Who's got a famous cruise? No, we're not talking about Tom Cruise. Not talking about Ted Cruz either. All right, can we forget the people? I'm trying to combine them together. What do we know about famous? No? River cruise. We're talking about river cruises, you guys. We're talking about river cruises today. Famous river cruises. Famous rivers, famous cruises. Not so much. That's okay. What do we know about river cruises? Well, we've all seen them, right? We've all seen the river cruises. You've seen them and you've thought about floating peacefully down a very serene river, watching castles go by, seeing the cities just built right up against the edge, all the markets that are there selling trinkets, people coming off in little boats and canoes with who knows what and stuff. So yes, we've seen those, but what else do we know about river cruises? How about you right here, Lady in Red? Lady in Red. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, they are very cool. Does anybody know actually anything about river cruises? At all? Has anybody ever heard of a river cruise company? Everybody's got their hands up. I bet we're all thinking the same thing, because there's only one river cruise company that everybody knows about. What is it? Those are my horns. That's right, Viking. You are correct. Viking is one of the river cruise companies. Guess what, class? They're like middle of the road, too. And there are tons of river cruise companies. And I'm going to tell you all about them on this episode. Also, what do we know about river cruises? How do they work? How much are they? Where do they go? What other cool stuff happens on a river cruise? We're going to dive into all of that right now. Somebody get rid of this Tom Cruise, Ted River Cuomo thing behind me. I can't do it. So first, let's start with the rivers that they cruise to, right? Because this is kind of important. Now, everybody knows Europe, we think, but they're actually all over. So we've got the Snake, the Mississippi, basically cutting the United States in half. Huge one, yes, they're there. The Columbia River, they do Canada, New England. There's a lot of river cruises that you can do right in your own backyard if you live here in the United States. Where else do they go? No? Okay. The Amazon. Yes, we all know the Amazon River, so it makes sense that they go there. And they do. There are river cruises down the Amazon River. What else? Denial. You're right. In Egypt, just like it sounds, denial, because I am so handsome and they're in denial about it, we sail down the Nile River. And that one is, oh my gosh, it is so good. Chef's kiss or whatever, it's beautiful. The Nile River cruise is one that you will never forget. So you should always star that, back of your mind, keep that for later. Where else do they go? They've got the Seine or the Seine or whatever, Molebu, I don't speak French, but they go through that one. They do the Danube, the romantic, mighty Danube. They do the Rhine River, the Moselle. They do the Mekong in Vietnam and Cambodia, which is a hidden secret, everybody. Let me tell you, people don't know about this. That one is absolutely a gem. Absolutely. I think I like it even better than the Nile. It's that freaking good, and nobody even knows about it. Where else do they go? They do the Yangtze in China. That's right, the Three Gorge Dam. They do it. I've done it. They're everywhere. They are everywhere. All over Europe, in Africa, in South America, in North America. The only place they aren't is in Australia. And who wants to go to a river there with giant crocodiles and dingoes, I don't know. And if you're from Australia, sorry, because that was a terrible accent. But, I'm American, so, you can make fun of us because we already know. And Antarctica, right? There's no river cruises there because there's really just underwater rivers, lots of ice. Maybe one day we'll come up with like an ice sledding thing. No, just polar bears, pretty much. But there are really cool cruises to Antarctica, but that is a different episode. So now that we know they are all over the world, what else do we know about the river cruises? Let's get into some of the river cruise companies. But Viking is not the best river cruise. They're not, guys. They're really good. And let me say this. Almost all of the river cruise companies are really, really good. Like, you will just have an amazing time. However, comparatively speaking, they're just middle of the road. That's right. You heard it here first. But it's a fact. They're just kind of middle of the road. So let's learn about the companies, and let's learn about the river cruises too. So, what does a river cruise consist of? And we're going to jump to this part first, then we'll come back to the river cruise lines, because almost all the river cruise lines operate the same way. They have the same inclusions, the same consistencies on excursions and things like that. So let's just dive into it. Generally speaking, river cruises are 7 days in length, okay? They're typically 7 days in length, and they operate both directions, whichever way you want to go. So if you're doing the Mississippi, you can start way up north and sail south, or you can start south and sail up north. Same itinerary, 7 days. In Europe, you can go Amsterdam to Basel, or Basel to Amsterdam, wherever you want to go. They're all going to do both directions. Some of them are going to be round trip. We can get into that. What is it on a river cruise that's so appealing besides seeing castles and amazing scenery? Well, the river cruises include all of your lodging, just like a regular cruise. They include all of the transportation, just like a regular cruise. They include all your meals, just like a regular cruise. But they also include wine and beer with lunch and dinner. Totally free, as much as you want. Some river cruises are full open bar. Some of them even include transfers, and I'll tell you which ones in just a minute. We'll get to that. The other thing that river cruises include, which is the best ever, and this is why they're actually such a good value when you look at them, is they include all of your shore excursions. Every single shore excursion. And sometimes you have like 2 a day. Now, why is that so cool? Why is that helpful? Well, when you're in Europe, for example, you're going through a bunch of tiny, small cities and towns that you've never even heard of. And all the little travel bloggers that are sniffing cocaine and actually have no idea what they're doing, because that's a fact. I have an episode about that one. They've never been there, so they don't know either. So now you have to spend hours and hours researching and trying to figure stuff out and making arrangements, and nobody wants to do that. That is just a huge pain in, you know what? That's right. So they include all the excursions. And guess what? They're not just like throw in like, we've got a city tour and we're going to go here and look at flowers. I mean, some of them actually do city tours and flowers, but they're really good. They're not like stupid throw-in excursions. They're excursions when you come back and you'd be like, wow, that was awesome. And they include all the excursions, sometimes 2 a day. The other thing that is really cool about the river cruises, a lot of them have bicycles on board that you can just check out, like a book from a library. And with the bikes, you can ride them around town, do your own thing. And they have a cool little GPS that you can program to go see all the highlights that you want to see. So maybe you have a friend that owns a coffee shop in town and you want to go see them. And then from there you want to go to a museum. And then from there you want to go down to the dock, the pier, and watch the fishermen go, or whatever it is. Who knows? You can plug all that in and it'll navigate you there just like it would on your phone and bring you right back to the ship. Or some of the adventurous types, they'll actually ride their bikes and program where the ship goes next and meet the ship there. And then they see all the city riding it by bike. Really cool. All included, totally free. Now, what else about the excursions do we know? Well, besides the fact that they're really good, they also have skip the line passes for everything. So when you're trying to get into places, you're front of the line. You don't have to wait for hours and hours. You guys go. They also have these cool little headsets that are in your ear. So me, I wandered off, this is in the Hermitage, I wandered off to the armory. And I checked out all the like swords and armor and knives and things, but I could still hear everything that the tour guide was saying, which was really cool. So I learned about the brush strokes and how they did it, which was interesting, but I didn't want to stare at this bowl of fruit for 5 minutes listening to it. I checked out the armory. It was cool. It's also neat because if you get lost, they can hear you. They can tell you, hey, Colby, we lost you. We don't know where you're at. Come meet us under sign 12 or the restroom over here on the second floor. And then you can just go find them if you lose your way. It's really easy to keep track of people. It's very nice. Another really neat thing is because these are river cruises, they can just get right in. So you will park right next to the Eiffel Tower in France. You will park right there and have a medieval dinner in a castle. How freaking cool is that, guys? Literally, right there, go on into the castle, sit down, a whole medieval dinner. They come out with just like everything you would imagine. King Arthur, these big things, the metal, whatever those things are called. You know, I'm supposed to know that, but I don't care what they're called, and neither do you, because you know what I'm talking about. And people can be like, oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. You know what, who freaking cares? I know about the river cruise, I don't know the name of the metal thing, right? But they all open it in sync, and you have a really cool medieval dinner and dancing. It is one of a kind, and it's totally included. It's the best. It's the best. And I'm telling you this because you guys know that I'm gonna shoot you straight. I'm not gonna make stuff up or blow smoke or fluff or whatever. I've done it, this is my opinion on it, and this is why it's that good. I've also had feedback from everybody. We take that, bundle it up, and spit it right back out for you. And this is the facts. These are amazing trips, just amazing trips. All right, next let's talk about some of the river cruise lines out there. Some of my favorite things about them. I'm not gonna list them really in any particular order, but I am gonna start with some of my personal favorites, the ones that I like best. Doesn't mean they're better than another, I'll tell you about it. The ones at the bottom of the list, definitely at the bottom of the list. But the top, 2, 3, 4, etc., you can rank them however you want, and you can ask me and I can help guide you, because maybe my top 2 or 3 might be order of 3, 2, 1 for you. But we'll talk about that, we can go into it. So, to start things off, we're gonna start with AMA Waterways, AMA for short. Like amazing waterways, AMA Waterways. They're my personal favorite river cruise line, okay? I really, really like these guys. Are they the best river cruise line out there? No, they're definitely not. But they are my favorite, and in my opinion, they're the best bang for your buck, the best value for a river cruise. Now, they're very, very nice, but they're not stuffy nice, And you don't have people looking down their nose at you and, oh, and my Grey Poupon, like, shut up. Okay, that was a little harsh, but they're not like that. They're fun, they're modern, they're still really nice. You have a good time on there. They're kind of lively, and they just do a really, really good job. Their prices are fantastic. They definitely compete with Viking and all the other guys out there. Typically, they're better pricing. And they have some other neat features that once you know about them, you're gonna be like, oh, I remember this. This is important, very important. So let's dive into those things. AMA has a daily happy hour in addition to wine and beer with lunch and dinner. What that means is 1 hour prior to dinner, full open bar, totally complimentary. So if you need to just get hammered and skip dinner, you could. I mean, it's up to you. They have lots of different food and snack stations too. You get the water and juice thing that a lot of people don't do, a lot of river cruises, I mean. Their staff is very friendly, very fun, very professional, but still they keep it light. So still giving you the sirs and yes ma'ams and all that good stuff, but it's not stiff, it's not stuffy, it's light and it's fun, and they are fun, and they're happy to be there. The staff and the ambiance is fantastic on AMA. Now, aside from the staffing and ambiance, and the food, which by the way is really good, and it's really good on all the cruise lines, but on AMA it's also very nice. There are a few other important details that you're gonna want to know when you're looking at these things. Now, the first thing is AMA has the lowest draft of all the river cruises out there. And what does that mean, draft? Like they have the lowest draft beers? No. What that is the draft, the bottom of the ship, how far down it sinks into the water, correct, right? That's buoyancy, so the further down it goes, displaces more water. Their ships have a very shallow draft. And why is that important? Well, in the summertime, or spring or fall even, the rivers, if they get too much rain and they're running high, then there's not enough room to fit between the water and the bridges. And there's bridges everywhere. And with their drafts being so low, they can basically flood the ships a little bit to sink down and fit under the bridges. So where other cruise lines cannot go, they can still operate. It also works in reverse. If there's been a drought or just not a lot of rain and the rivers are running real shallow, nobody, well, I don't say nobody, but a lot of the river cruise lines cannot operate because it's too low. They're going to hit the bottom. And so with the low waters, because their draft is so low, they can still navigate where the other river cruise lines can't. Now you're probably wondering, well, what happens if they can't operate, AMA or anybody else? Well, your very expensive, very amazing river cruise trip has turned into a bus trip. Very expensive bus trip. If the river cruises cannot pass, you have a bus trip. And it's not that good. It's just not that good. It's okay. People still have an okay time, but it's not that good. And we can discuss the options of what happens if that occurs and when to look out for that, when the rivers typically run low and when they run high. However, AMA also has a third little ace up their sleeve, and that is where they meet the ships. So let's just pretend that you've got a ship going this way and a ship going this way, but the water's too low or too high and they can't traverse. Then what they'll do is they'll park the ships, pack up your bags for you, get everybody off, and it's like a Chinese fire drill, and just whoop. And so they'll move everything, they'll unpack you, they'll sanitize the rooms, they'll send everybody on like a lunch thing for an hour or two as they sanitize both ships, and then they'll put you in the exact same cabin on the other ship on the other side of the bridge. So when the two ships are here and they can't cross, they'll take you off of this one and put you on this one, and these people off this one and put them on this one, and then you go along your way, and you can continue your cruise without having the bus trip. Nobody else does that. They do that. And the water thing is a real thing. It happens every single year. Somebody, a client of ours, or clients, or many, will encounter that. It does happen. It's unfortunate, but it does happen. It's just the waters. We can't control Mother Nature. And never try to control Mother Nature. It's not a good idea. Finally, AMA also has amazing interline rates. I'm talking sub $1,000 per person, super, super good pricing. And of course, that's one of the things we specialize in. So obviously they're one of my favorites because I can get you 70% off on trips or more once we're within 90 days. That's hard to beat. Not a lot of river cruise lines can do that. Next on my list of favorite river cruise lines is Uniworld. Now these guys rock, okay? Uniworld is super awesome. They are, looked away. They are luxury and they are boutique. And they crush it. They nail it. AMA that I just talked up, not a competitor to Uniworld. Viking River that not a competitor to Uniworld. Uniworld is way up here compared to those guys. They just are. And I said, AMA's my personal favorite. Uniworld is that good. In addition to all the things that all the river cruise lines include, Uniworld is Uniworld is full open bar 24/7. Right? There's no happy hour, there's no wine and beer with lunch and dinner. It's whatever you want. If you want a mimosa for breakfast, mimosas, baby. If you want a glass of wine at lunch, cool, just like anybody else. If you want some evening cocktails and dancing or playing cards with a shot of tequila because that's how you roll, I don't know, it's included. You don't have to worry about it. Also, Uniworld includes gratuities with their pricing, which is huge. On the river cruise lines, the gratuities get a little bit pricey, so it's nice to have those included. They also include the transfers, so you don't have to worry about that either. Uniworld includes everything, so it makes it super nice, super convenient, and super easy. Their ships are gorgeous. They put AMA and Viking to shame. They just do. They're just that much better. However, they're more on the luxe and boutique side. So instead of the kind of the modern, which you'll still have, they'll have like the bigger, thick, heavy curtains and the big crown molding that you'd see in like Queen Elizabeth's palace or something. So it's a little bit of a different decor. You have to make sure that you're okay with that. Now, Uniworld is more expensive. They definitely are, but they are 100% worth it. You get what you pay for, right? And everything that you pay for, you get back tenfold. They're an amazing, amazing cruise line, but they are more expensive. Their interline rates are also super duper duper good. 65, 75% off. they're going to be on average, I don't know, maybe like $500 to $700 more per person than an interline rate on AMA, but still really, really good, like stupid good. I mean, they're just, to give you an example, my parents are looking at booking a river cruise as I'm filming this, and they are debating between AMA and Uniworld and Scenic. And we'll get to Scenic. They're not doing Viking, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But that's what my parents are going for, just so you know. Now we are talking about probably my third favorite. Once again, they're not really in any particular order, but these are my favorites. Next one is Scenic. Scenic is awesome. Oh my gosh. They might even be better than Uniworld. They probably are. They're that freaking good, okay guys? They're 5 stars. I mean, they crush everybody. 100% worth it. 5 stars, you've got butlers, you've got laundry, you've got free room service, you have mini bars, you have bottled waters that's free that they provide to you for everything. On shore excursions and whatnot too, bottled waters on all excursions. You have chef prepared picnics that they'll just do for you. Their ships are super, super, super nice, very modern, kind of like James Bond feeling. You know, like when he always gets that new awesome car that's kind of luxury but cool and modern and sleek and sexy, and that's Scenic. Scenic crushes it. They smoke the competition. They're so, so good. Also, their ships don't, even though they're that nice, they don't feel like, you know, nobody wants to feel like they're in a library, right? Where it's, shh, you gotta be quiet, you gotta whisper. Kind of like on an airplane, how it's, you know, you just hear the engines the whole time because everybody's whispering. No, they want you to have fun. Have fun, be loud, laugh and joke, enjoy yourselves, music, whatever, have a good time. And a lot of high-end things, I feel, lose that fun aspect, and then they just become stuffy. And it's just like you're in the library, and you're afraid to even sneeze because everybody's gonna hear you, and it's like, no, I want to relax. I want to have fun. I want my clients to relax and have fun. And if they want to have a quiet environment, they can. If they want to jump for joy and have some fun and laugh and hoot and holler a little bit, they can. Now remember, on the river cruises, you're not going to get any of these drunk like party people. That's not going to happen, so you don't have to worry about that. Scenic's interline rates. Ooh, they're hardcore, okay? Now Scenic is probably one of the most expensive river cruises out there. Definitely worth every penny, just like Uniworld, even more expensive than Uniworld. Their interline rates, though, are 75 to like 85% off. So good. Now, you're still going to be paying $2 or $3K per person for just a kind of a balcony type room. Whereas on the other guys, you know, you're under $2,000. But it's worth every penny, and it's still, like I said, 75 to like 85% off. It's insane how cheap that they will discount these cruises for us. Only for the interline, of course. But they have them. The rates are fantastic. Also, their ocean product, Viking's ocean product, is absolutely fantastic. Perfection. They are so good. They crushed the ocean product so well. So if you ever want to do Viking on an ocean, 100% recommend, right near the top. As far as river goes, they're like my 3rd or 4th or 5th favorite. So Viking is kind of middle of the road. They do everything right, just sometimes not to the extent of other river cruise lines. Once again, though, it is not bad. It's still an excellent experience. And if you went on Viking, you would have an amazing time. And I would ensure that you would, because I'm going to help you find the right fit. And maybe the right fit is Viking. I mean, sometimes with their free air promos, it's just a no-brainer. We have to do Viking versus the other ones because it's so good. So, just so you know, we've just got to get that preface and out of the way. Now, Viking typically charges a little bit more than companies like AMA. They're not going to be as expensive as Uniworld, though, but they're kind of right in that middle of the road. Also, a lot of their vessels kind of have that heavy marble and whatnot, so their drafts on some of their vessels is pretty deep. And so they encounter not like a bunch more, but maybe a little bit more often than others of turning into a bus trip, just because they have a lot of heavy marble and stuff on their ships, so it kind of brings that draft down a little bit. Which is weird because it's a river cruise ship and the buoyancy. Don't know how it works, but that's what we've been trained on, so that's what I'm giving to you. And once again, guys, I've sailed on Viking. I've sailed on Uniworld. I've sailed on all of them. So I'm giving you my first-hand experience, plus what I've been trained on, plus all of the thousands of people that we've sent on these, and taking all that feedback and saying, okay, yep, this lines up, oh, this didn't line up, why? We investigate, oh, okay, now we know. So I'm always going to shoot you straight on all of them. And once again, nobody's paying me to do this. This is just education for you. So you might find you like somebody better. Totally okay. You know, it is what it is. We all have our own opinions. Next, we have our good buddies Avalon. Avalon Waterways, AVA, but it gets kind of confusing with AMA, so we just call them Avalon, everybody does. The neat thing is Avalon is also a part of the Globus family, which is a huge tour company, and they do a good job. Avalon also, their headquarters were right behind our office. That's right. I'd have lunch with some of their staff and employees and stuff all the time. They're just right there. We're buddies. We are next door neighbors. The Avalon product itself is very good. I'd put it right there with Viking, under AMA, just the product itself. It's a good value, but I don't really like Avalon. And I'll tell you why really quickly. And I'll probably do an entire episode on it. But their product, fine. If you go on them, if you request to go on them, we'll get you on them. You'll have a great time. You'll be like, yeah, they're fantastic. That's not the issue. The issue I have is with the management. And I know a lot of people that work there because, like I said, they're right behind us. Their headquarters are right behind us. But I will not promote Avalon at all. I will not. I will not market them. We will not talk about them. If you request them, fine. Great. Other than that, we're not going to do them. Why? We were the number one interline seller for Avalon Waterways in this region. The number one. And these people are unscrupulous. They're so bad. And they rip people off and they hide fees and taxes. And when the third person's free, they still charge like $400. I hate this company. I hate everything about them because they're terrible. They're sneaky and they take advantage of you, and they shouldn't. The interline program should be a benefit, not just like something where they can screw you over. But they do it, and they're going to probably see this, and I'm sure they're going to try to lash out. But you know what? I don't care. The gloves are off, baby. Anyway, Avalon made an exclusive deal with them for the interline program. That's not cool. All of the tax dollars now go to Texas. So the Texas parks, the Texas roads, everything is getting all of our tax money only into Texas. Our freaking next door neighbors took all this money out of Colorado, our cities, our parks, everything, and it sent it to Texas. Like Texas freaking needs that. So anyway, that's Avalon. Good product. I'm not going to promote them. If you request to book them, I'll still book them for you because they are a good product. The next river cruise company that you're going to want to pay attention to is Tauk, or Talk, whatever you want to call them, which is kind of a sneaky play because normally they're a tour company, and they still are, but they do own a few river cruise ships now. They used to charter out the ships from companies like Uniworld and Scenic and AMA, etc., and run the cruises that way. But they did such a good job that they were able to buy their own ships, and now they have their own ships, and they're fantastic. Talk is a really good tour company. Their river cruise product is exceptional. Prices are a little bit higher, but not breaking the bank, still affordable, and you will not come back with a complaint. Nobody has ever come back with a complaint about them. They are really good. I am a very big fan of Tauk. Very big fan. Not even of their river cruises, but the tour company itself, just the entire company. They do things correct. I really like these guys. Their interline rates are kind of few and far between. They don't come out too often, but when they do, they're also really competitive rates. 2 thumbs up for Tauk. Like them a lot. And then we have Emerald. Ye old Emerald Waterways. The Emerald of the Waterway. So, and I'm going to have a whole episode on this one, but we'll make this fast. They're at the bottom of my list. I had a rule, and I'm not even joking, I'm not emphasizing, it is a flat, hardcore rule. You can ask anybody if you call my office. I had a rule that if anybody booked this river cruise company, I would fire them on the spot. I'm not even joking. And you can ask my staff, like my team, you can ask my team. I'm like the best boss ever because I really take care of my team as much as I can. But that's an inexcusable thing to me. Now, during COVID, they got new management, things shuffled around, and it got a little bit better. So we lightened that rule to try, and they burned it again. And so that rule was a hard, nobody books Emerald. We will not book Emerald. I will fire you if you do. If you want to book Emerald, go work somewhere else, because you're going to deal with that, and you're going to have all these pissed off clients and everything else. Now, the actual product of Emerald is actually pretty darn good, I have to admit. You know, the backpacks and stuff that they send out to you, it's a nice touch. The product itself is good. The prices are really affordable, but the management is god awful. They have burned my clients and me multiple times, so many that we don't do it. Now, and I'll have a whole episode as to why, and we can go into it on the episode. I will say that if you're watching this, that we have lightened that rule again, that we will book them again, but I'm not going to promote them, and I might try to tell you about other cruise lines that might be better, but if you want to do Emerald, we still will. The reason is I have 2 friends now with that company, and they're high up. And I know that they will have our back, and they will have your back, should they try to pull these stunts again, and they've done it. Like I said, I'll have an entire episode on it. The product's really good. The prices are very, very affordable. It's just everything else behind the scenes, leading up to your trip, during your trip, after your trip, that they're so bad that I refuse to book them because I can't have anybody else having such a poor experience. So that's Emerald. Make with it what you will. Those are my top cruise lines for the river cruises, more or less in order, but not exactly. The ones you should pay attention to for sure. So now that we know kind of what's included on a river cruise, we know some of the river cruise companies that we can start exploring. Is there anything else that we should know? Yes, we should know. Generally, not the best fit for kids. They do allow kids. Kids are okay. I've been on some with a couple 11-year-olds. They're probably gonna be the only kids on board. It's not a great thing for kids. You by Uniworld is super cool. That's for people like 20 to 40. They have parties, they have tattoo artists. It's the young version for a river cruise. Why do I say that? Because generally the average age on a river cruise, we're talking like 65 plus, maybe 70 plus, maybe 75 plus. It's up there. The first river cruise I went on, I was 21 years old. I was the youngest person on board by 3 times my age. That's right, the youngest person on board was like 64 or 65 years old. That was the youngest person besides me. I was 21 and they were like 65. And yes, I've been doing this forever. If you don't know, I've been doing this for like 20 years now. It's a long, long time. And yes, I may still look young, or maybe I look old. I don't know. You know, maybe the camera adds a lot of weight. Who knows? They generally attract an older crowd. It is a slower environment. Some have elevators. They're definitely ADA friendly and compatible. A lot of them are double occupancy only. They don't really have triples or quads. Now, I have another episode coming up right after this about the onboard experience and cabin types and what cabins you should choose. What are the different types of categories? Where should you be on the vessel? Does that even matter like it does on the big cruise ships? So watch that next episode for that information. So that's a good intro to river cruises class. Now let's stay tuned for the next one about life on board, choosing cabins, etc. And anybody, please raise your hand or type it in the comments if you're not in this classroom with questions or your experience. Maybe how much you loved Emerald, or maybe how probably you got burned by Emerald. Maybe you like Viking better. Let's have it. Give us your thoughts. Maybe I'll make an episode on that too. You never know, guys. Until then, I don't really know why I bowed, but whatever. Thumbs up. Okay, see ya.
So that's it for today's episode of Travel with Colby. Head on over to wherever you listen and subscribe to the show. One lucky listener every single week that posts a review on Apple Podcasts will win a chance in a grand prize drawing to win a free cruise. So be sure to head on over to travelwithcolby.com and pick up a free travel gift from Colby and join us next time.